Most men think attraction is a puzzle. They assume women are drawn to looks, charm, or clever lines. That's a myth. Women are drawn to power, not loud, showy dominance, but the kind they sense deep in their bodies long before any touch. When a man enters a room grounded, calm, and completely in command of himself, women notice immediately. Their heartbeats shift, their defenses lower, curiosity ignites, desire begins silently. It's not about what you say, it's about the energy you radiate. I could have you, your energy whispers, but I don't need to. That unspoken confidence sparks fascination. Women instinctively chase the men they cannot emotionally decipher, but feel safe surrendering to. In this video, you'll learn 5 Machiavellian skills that make women crave you. Not because you convince them, but because your presence pulls them in. Each step strengthens the next, creating magnetic tension, authority, and subtle dominance. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to convert unseen attraction into physical desire, step by step. Master your inner drive. Desire is a natural part of being human. Every person feels it, and it's one of the strongest forces behind motivation, creativity, and ambition. But many people make a crucial mistake. They let this energy control them. They act impulsively, make decisions they regret, or chase validation instead of developing themselves. When desire runs wild, it becomes scattered and unfocused. A disciplined man takes the opposite approach. Instead of being ruled by his impulses, he channels his drive with intention. He directs that energy into his goals, his work, his body, and his personal growth. This creates a presence that people notice immediately, an energy rooted in self-control and clarity. A man who manages his inner drive doesn't need to prove anything. His confidence comes from within, not from external approval. This calm, grounded self-assurance naturally draws others in. People feel the difference between someone controlled by impulse and someone guided by purpose. Think of your inner drive like fire. Uncontained, it burns out quickly. But when focused, it becomes a powerful tool fuel for discipline, motivation, creativity, strength, and resilience. When a man channels this energy, his actions become more intentional. His voice carries more confidence. His presence becomes more focused and steady. Mastering your internal energy doesn't mean suppressing it or pretending it isn't there. Suppression leads to frustration. Instead, it's about choosing how and when to use your energy. It's strategic, it's thoughtful, it creates patience, clarity, and direction. There's an old principle that captures this perfectly. He who governs his appetites is already a ruler. When you govern your impulses, you show inner leadership. You're no longer pulled in every direction by temporary urges. You choose your actions instead of reacting to them. This gives you a deeper sense of control over your life, your goals, and your relationships. Many people confuse desire with need. They chase external validation, hoping it will bring confidence. But real power comes from discipline, knowing that you could act on impulse, but choosing not to. That restraint builds internal strength. It sharpens your focus, it elevates your mindset. And this shift affects every part of life. When you channel your drive instead of wasting it, you gain clarity in your decisions, strength in your goals, and stability in your emotions. You move with purpose, not desperation. Others can sense this. They recognize authenticity and grounded confidence. This isn't about denial or restriction. It's a strategy. It's about turning raw energy into ambition, presence, and direction. It's what separates the reactive from the intentional, the unfocused from the disciplined. When mastered, this inner drive becomes one of your greatest assets. It fuels success, attracts meaningful connections, and strengthens your character. You don't chase validation, you create value. And that is what makes your presence unforgettable. Master your emotions. Most men think attraction is about looks, charm, or funny lines. They think women are impressed by words or clever tricks. That's a misunderstanding. The truth is, real attraction starts with your energy. Women respond to men who are calm, grounded, and in control of themselves. And that begins with mastering your emotions. Emotional mastery does not mean ignoring your feelings, pretending you don't care, or becoming robotic. It means that no matter what happens around you, your inner state remains steady. You can feel anger, frustration, desire, or excitement, but those feelings never control your actions. You decide how you respond. This is the kind of control most men never achieve, and it's what makes women instinctively attracted to a man. Women naturally test men. They do it without thinking, without even knowing they are doing it. They might tease you, make a small contradiction, or suddenly become quiet in the middle of a conversation. They might test how you react when they mention another man or push your boundaries in small ways. Most men fail these tests. They panic, they over-explain, laugh nervously, or try to impress. They fill the space with words because they are uncomfortable with silence. But the man who has mastered his emotions does the opposite. He pauses, he observes. He does not react immediately. He remains calm and grounded. That stillness creates a magnetic energy that women notice instinctively. It makes her curious. It makes her heart rate change. It draws her in. Silence, calmness, and presence communicate strength and stability far more than words ever could. Imagine this scenario. You are talking to a woman and she suddenly withdraws. She looks at her phone, folds her arms, or avoids your gaze. A man who lacks emotional control panics. He might start talking too much, over-explaining himself, or acting anxious to get her attention back. But a man in control waits calmly. He lets the silence exist. That moment of calm actually pulls her toward you. She feels a tension she can't explain. She starts paying attention to your energy, not your words. That is the power of emotional mastery. Machiavelli wrote, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers cities." This is the truth about attraction. Women are not impressed by clever lines or status alone. They respond to men whose emotions are stable, whose presence is grounded, and whose energy communicates security and control. They feel safe around men who remain calm under pressure even when they are being tested. Emotional mastery also means understanding the difference between feeling and reacting. You can feel a surge of desire, frustration, or irritation, but instead of letting it control you, you observe it. You pause. You let your calmness guide your response. That stillness creates tension, curiosity, and attraction. Women subconsciously notice this. They feel it in their bodies before they even know why. Another example, you are on a date and she subtly tests you. Maybe she challenges your opinion or makes a teasing comment. A man without emotional control reacts. He gets defensive, tries too hard to prove himself, or laughs nervously. A man with emotional mastery remains calm, composed, and measured. He answers with a small, confident response, maybe even a smile, and lets the conversation continue naturally. That calm response communicates authority and confidence, which creates invisible tension. Women find this energy irresistible. Emotional mastery is not just useful on dates, it affects every part of your life. At work, in social settings, and with friends, your ability to remain calm and centered under pressure signals strength. People notice it, and women are drawn to it instinctively. It is a silent authority that makes them trust you, respect you, and even desire you without you saying a single word. To practice emotional mastery, start small. Pause before reacting. Observe situations without judgment. Let your calmness lead your actions. Over time, your energy becomes magnetic. Women feel it. Your presence becomes irresistible. You become the man who doesn't chase attention because attention naturally comes to him. Remember, mastering emotions is not about being perfect. It's about being unshakable. The more you control yourself, the more your presence communicates power, mystery, and authority. And women feel it before they even realize it. Live with ruthless discipline. True power is never simply declared. It is shown through consistency, structure, and control. Most men talk about being ambitious, confident, or successful, but their lives tell a different story. Women can sense chaos instinctively. They notice when a man lacks structure, purpose, or direction. It's not something you explain with words. It's felt in your energy, your rhythm, and the way you move through life. Discipline is not just about following a strict schedule or waking up early. It's much deeper than that. Discipline is the essence of your presence. It is reflected in the way you carry yourself, the promises you keep, the way you maintain your body, and how you manage your time. Every small choice communicates something. Every consistent action signals to the world and to women that you are in command of your life. That is the kind of power that doesn't need validation. A man with discipline radiates certainty. He doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't chase attention. His life itself becomes a testament to his strength. Women instinctively notice it. They feel drawn to a man whose energy communicates reliability, consistency, and mastery. This is magnetic because it creates safety, trust, and fascination all at once. Machiavelli famously said, "A prince must first rule himself before ruling his subjects." This principle is timeless. Before you can command others or attract others, you must command yourself. That means building routines, controlling impulses, and holding your standards no matter the situation. Every time you follow through on a commitment, wake up early, even when you don't feel like it, maintain your body, or stay focused on your long-term goals, you are sharpening your invisible authority. Women feel this in a subtle but powerful way. They sense that your life has order and that you are someone who cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. Discipline also affects your presence in daily life. Imagine two men, one constantly distracted, checking his phone, running late, or complaining about his schedule. The other follows a plan, respects his time, and moves with purpose. Which man feels stronger? Which man commands attention? Which man women are drawn to naturally? The answer is clear. Discipline radiates invisible power. It's important to understand that discipline isn't rigid control or obsession over minor details. It's a way of life, a rhythm that permeates every action. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. The disciplined man doesn't need to announce his achievements. They show themselves in subtle ways. The way he walks into a room, how he speaks, how he treats his body, how he manages his commitments. All of this signals one thing: I am in control and my life is mine. Women unconsciously sense this. They are attracted to men whose lives are cohesive and purposeful. Discipline is more than habit. It is the foundation of invisible authority. It shows that you are capable, reliable, and self-possessed. When combined with emotional mastery, sexual control, and verbal precision, it makes you a man whose presence is magnetically attractive. Remember, discipline is not a temporary effort. It is a daily practice. Every choice you make, every boundary you enforce, every habit you maintain adds to your invisible power. Over time, this cumulative energy makes women feel drawn to you instinctively. They are not thinking about it, they just feel it. They notice the weight of your consistency, the calm certainty in your presence, and the unspoken message that your life is a force to be respected. When you live with ruthless discipline, your life becomes your ultimate declaration of power. You don't need to chase women, impress anyone, or seek approval. Your consistency, structure, and mastery over yourself communicate everything for you. Women sense it, are attracted to it, and respond to it without words. Discipline becomes a silent magnet, pulling attention, respect, and desire effortlessly. Speak with weight and precision. Words are powerful. Every time you speak, you send energy into the world. Most men don't understand this. They talk too much, ramble, over-explain, or overshare personal details. They seek approval through constant chatter, trying desperately to impress. Women notice this instantly. Noise does not attract, it repels. Women are drawn to gravity, not volume. They feel energy more than they hear words. The way a man speaks, pauses, and controls his tone communicates far more than the words themselves. Every sentence you speak carries weight if delivered with intention. Every pause, every inflection, every glance becomes a tool of influence. To master this, start by slowing down your speech. Speak deliberately, like every word matters. Avoid filler words like or like. Let your words land like commands, not decoration. Each phrase should move the conversation forward, plant curiosity, or ignite tension. The man who masters speech knows that less is always more. Saying too much dilutes authority. Saying just enough creates fascination. Silence is a weapon. Most men fear silence and rush to fill it. A pause makes a woman think, wonder, and lean in. She starts trying to understand your rhythm, your intentions, and your mind. When you speak with control and then pause, you create invisible tension. Every pause is magnetic. Every word becomes a thread she wants to follow. Your presence becomes louder than your voice. Imagine a scenario. You are on a date and she challenges your opinion, teasing or testing you. A man lacking control might react defensively, explain himself too much, or laugh nervously. The Machiavellian man does something entirely different. He remains calm, grounded, and deliberate. He smiles faintly, chooses his words carefully, and answers with confidence and brevity. That simple response communicates authority, security, and composure. She notices it in her body before she even registers it consciously. Another scenario, you meet a woman at a party and she playfully tests you with a subtle provocation. Instead of overreacting, argue, or seeking validation, you speak with controlled power. Your voice is steady. Your tone is deep. You pause. You let the weight of your presence dominate the interaction without aggression. That is the essence of verbal power. Influence without force, attraction without trying. Machiavelli said, use words as weapons, not decoration. This is key. Your words are not for pleasing her. They are for directing emotion, creating tension, and shaping perception. Every sentence should build intrigue or establish your presence. Every pause should draw her in closer. The most magnetic men speak with precision, not verbosity. They do not over-explain or seek approval. Their words carry authority. Their silence carries power. Remember, women are not attracted to men they fully understand. They are drawn to men who are a puzzle, who are confident, composed, and magnetic. Speaking with weight and precision allows you to become that man. She begins to follow your rhythm unconsciously. She leans in to fill the silence. She watches, she waits, she reacts to your presence. That is how attraction escalates without you saying a single overtly sexual word. To practice this, start in small interactions. Speak slowly, choose words carefully, and use silence intentionally. Watch how people respond. Notice how tension grows when you say less and mean more. Over time, this skill transforms ordinary conversation into a magnetic tool of seduction and authority. Master this skill and you will no longer chase. Attention. Attention will chase you. Words become your silent power, and every interaction becomes an opportunity to draw women closer with your energy, not your explanations. Master the power of presence. Presence is one of the most powerful tools a man can develop. It is the invisible force that women feel before they even see you or hear you speak. Most men completely misunderstand this. They walk into a room and immediately try to grab attention. They talk too much, laugh too loudly, or try to impress everyone around them. This is a common mistake. It is weakness disguised as confidence. True power does not shout. It radiates silently. The Machiavellian man understands that presence is not about words, looks, or status. It is about energy, posture, and command over oneself. The way you hold your body, the calmness in your gaze, the rhythm of your movements, even the way you breathe, all communicate power. Every detail signals, I am here and everything else adjusts around me. This is the essence of silent authority. Women notice presence instinctively. They feel it in their bodies before their minds can process it. Her pulse changes subtly. Her guard lowers without realizing why. She feels curiosity, fascination, and a magnetic pull toward a man who exudes quiet dominance. It is not in your words, your jokes, or your stories. It is in the way you occupy space with calm confidence. That is the language she understands. To master presence, start by moving deliberately. Walk slower than normal. Carry yourself with purpose and hold your posture like every movement matters. Avoid fidgeting, checking your phone, or looking nervous. Every micro movement communicates energy. Your focus should be on yourself first, not on the reactions of others. When you command your internal state, your external presence naturally becomes magnetic. Another key element is silence. A man with presence does not feel the need to fill every moment with words. Speaking less, pausing often, and observing your surroundings communicates confidence and authority. Women are drawn to this because it creates a sense of mystery and tension. They begin to pay attention to your subtle cues, lean in slightly, and wonder what is going on in your mind. That curiosity fuels attraction more than any line or joke ever could. Imagine entering a social setting. Most men immediately try to impress, overtalk, or perform. But you, the man who has mastered presence, simply enter calmly, breathe steadily, and hold your space. You do not compete for attention. Instead, attention naturally flows toward you, like gravity pulling objects toward a massive body. People notice you without knowing exactly why. Women are particularly sensitive to this. They subconsciously register a man who is grounded, composed, and completely at ease in his own skin. Presence also requires control over energy in the moment. Avoid reacting impulsively to distractions, provocations, or the attention of others. Maintain calm and focus. Let your stillness communicate authority. Every movement, every glance, every shift in stance reinforces your dominance silently. This is why presence is considered the silent language of masculine power. When presence is mastered, you no longer need to chase approval or validation. You draw attention effortlessly, and women are naturally intrigued. They ask themselves silently, "Who is this man who doesn't need me, yet I find myself wanting him?" That question is the seed of desire. The more consistent your presence, the more magnetic you become. In practice, presence is about slowing down, occupying your space intentionally, and mastering your energy in every all-hour interaction. Your posture, tone, gaze, and even your breathing combine to create an aura that is felt, not explained. When done correctly, women lean in, notice every subtle gesture, and feel tension that pulls them toward you naturally. Presence is the foundation of attraction. It is the silent signal of power, dominance, and authority that no words can replicate. Own it fully, move deliberately, speak only when necessary, hold your space as sacred. The invisible tension you create becomes irresistible, and attraction begins to happen before a word is ever spoken. Cultivate unbreakable self-respect. Respect begins within. The way you see and value yourself directly shapes how the world sees you. Most men make a critical mistake. They seek validation from others, especially women. They chase attention, over-explain themselves, or bend their standards just to be liked. This destroys attraction. Women are instinctively drawn to men who value themselves too much to settle for less, and repelled by men who constantly beg for approval. Self-respect is about setting clear boundaries and protecting your energy. It is about knowing what you will tolerate and what you will not. It is about moving through life with the mindset, "I decide my value. No one else does." A man with unbreakable self-respect does not negotiate his worth. He does not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or games. He stands firm in his principles even when tested. This is magnetic because women sense the energy of a man who cannot be controlled or bent. One of the most powerful tools of self-respect is withdrawal. When a woman tests your limits through teasing, subtle provocation, ignoring you, or flirting with attention elsewhere, most men panic. They respond, overcompensate, or chase. The man who understands self-respect does the opposite. He calmly withdraws attention, remains silent, and lets his absence create value. Women feel it immediately. Your energy becomes untouchable. Your standards signal authority. They notice that you are not available to anyone who does not meet your level of respect. That alone makes you irresistible. Machiavelli understood this when he said, "Make them value your presence by proving you can disappear." This principle is essential. When you protect your time, your energy, and your attention, women begin to rise to meet your standards. They are drawn to your energy because it communicates strength, independence, and self-command. You no longer chase desire, it naturally flows toward you. The woman senses that your presence is not something she can demand. It is earned and held with quiet authority. Self-respect is not arrogance. It is unshakable confidence in your own value. It means you do not need validation, approval, or constant affirmation from anyone. It means saying no without guilt, leaving situations that diminish you, and refusing to compromise your principles for short-term gain. Every action, every choice, every moment of calm assertiveness builds invisible authority that women feel at a primal level. Imagine being in a conversation With a woman who is testing you, she makes a subtle dig or a provocative comment. A man without self respect reacts emotionally, defends himself, or tries too hard to maintain attention. A man with unbreakable self respect simply smiles faintly, holds his ground, and continues on his path without chasing her reaction. That calm, firm energy shifts the dynamic instantly. Women feel tension, curiosity, and fascination because they recognize a man who cannot be manipulated and does not beg for approval. Self respect also manifests in your daily life. How you manage your work, your habits, your routines, and your time all communicate value. A man who honors his word, keeps promises, and enforces his own boundaries demonstrates power without having to declare it. Women notice this consistency subconsciously. They feel that your energy is rare, controlled, and worth engaging with. Ultimately, self respect is the foundation for all other masculine powers. When you cultivate it, you create a life where attraction happens naturally. You no longer chase women. Desire flows toward you. You no longer bend for approval. Attention seeks you. You become a man who moves like a force that chooses, never begs. Your presence itself commands respect. And when combined with emotional mastery, sexual control, verbal precision, and discipline, you become magnetically irresistible. Remember, a man who respects himself cannot be broken, manipulated, or ignored. Women sense this power instinctively. They feel drawn to it, challenged by it, and ultimately fascinated by it. Protect your energy, enforce your boundaries, and let your presence communicate. I am the prize, and I decide who earns my attention. Turn desire into obedience through subtle guidance. The final skill is the art of invisible leadership, the kind of influence she feels rather than sees. Desire is only the spark. Obedience, alignment, and surrender come from subtle guidance, not force. Women don't want a man who barks orders or tries to prove dominance. They want a man whose presence quietly directs the entire interaction, whose energy sets the rhythm of the connection without announcing it. This is the Machiavellian mastery of influence. You don't react to her tests, you redirect them. You don't argue with her emotions, you anchor them. You don't chase her chaos, you absorb it and shape it into calm. A word, a slow breath, a controlled pause, a shift in your posture. These tiny signals guide her into your frame, not because you pushed her, but because your stability, confidence, and discipline make following you feel natural. Soon, she mirrors your tone. She matches your rhythm. She gravitates toward your emotional gravity. Her desire slowly transforms into a deeper instinct to align with you. Machiavelli captured this truth perfectly. It is not by force, but by artful guidance that men hold power over others. Master this, and you no longer chase attraction, you shape it. You no longer demand surrender, she offers it. Every moment becomes a subtle dance where you lead without speaking, and she follows without realizing why. This is the final transformation: desire, fascination, obedience, quiet, invisible, inevitable. Power doesn't come from chasing, it begins inside yourself. Master your emotions, your desire, your words, your life, and your self-respect. Once you command these, attraction, trust, and desire follow automatically. Women don't just notice it, they feel it. They surrender not because you convince them, but because your energy commands it. Machiavelli would have said, "He who commands himself commands all others." Stop chasing, stop begging, live in alignment, move like inevitability. When you master yourself, the world bends to your presence. The game isn't about women. It's about owning the kingdom inside